guys, it's Tiffany from Crazy for Creatures, and today I am joined with Max, and we are going to be doing a bearded dragon care video. Alright guys, so the first thing I'll talk about is their lifespan. Typically in captivity they live anywhere between 10 and 15 years. Max here is about 7.5. He was a rescue. They live about 10 to 15 years. Sometimes they can live up to 20 as long as with proper care. They live shorter lifespans in the wild due to predators and substrate and everything. There's different factors when it comes to the wild. They're pretty easy to care for, but they do have some requirements when it comes to lighting and heating, so you got to keep that in mind if you plan on getting a bearded dragon. The first would be UVB lighting, which is very important, and Max is not going to cooperate. Stay put. But UVB lighting is very important. I recommend the Reptisun 10.0. It's the tube lighting. It gives off the best output. Make sure they get their UVB, which they'll need in order to metabolize the calcium in their body. That way they don't develop any conditions like MAD, which is metabolic bone disease, which can lead to it's like squishy bones. It makes it where they can't walk. Sometimes their jaw is deformed. It makes it difficult for them to eat, and it could ultimately lead to death if they're not getting the correct supplements or the correct lighting. So that is very, very important. The other important lighting is going to be your basking bulb. They do require warmer temperatures. They require, I'm going to put Max down. They require basking at around 95 to 105 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's just their basking spot. So they'll lay there. That's how they metabolize their food. They also require like their warm area. Just the ambient temperature needs to be between 80 and 85 degrees, and then they need a temperature gradient. So the temperature gradient should be on the cool side, should be around 72 to 82 degrees. That way they can get out of the heat if they need to. In those two areas, they should have hides on both ends where they can get underneath on the hot side or underneath on the cool side, wherever they want to hide. I'll tell you that Max, my older dragon, he doesn't really utilize his hides, but they're still in there. And then Toothless, my younger dragon, who grab her since Max doesn't want to stick around. Toothless, my younger dragon here, she will use the hides, especially later in the day when she's getting sleepy. She'll curl up either on the cool side or the warm side and just go to sleep in her hides. Or Max will sleep out in the open, and I think it's just because he's more comfortable and she's still a baby, so everything still kind of intimidates her. Either way, it's important to keep the hides in there. Their diet, so for Toothless, she's about 5 months old now, so she's kind of like right in between stages here, but for a younger baby, it's going to be 20% greens, so you still offer greens every day, but the biggest difference is their diet is going to be 80% insects. So they're going to need more insects than the typical adult would. They need more protein because they're growing. And yeah, so as they're growing, hold on a second, Max. And Max is over there chasing my dog off the bed. Sorry. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with you two. But anyway, what was I saying? 20% greens for babies, 80% insects. As they get older, you're gonna switch it over. So right now, Toothless is in between stages. So she has been cut down from getting insects every day to 3 times a week. Where Max, as an adult, he gets insects twice a week, about 12 insects each feeding for him. She still gets as many insects as she'll eat within 15 minutes, which is usually about 8, 10, 12, 3 times a week. And then greens every day for both of them. So let's put her back in her cage since Max is on the floor. So I am rambling, I'm sorry. So insect wise, some good staples are going to be discoid roaches. If you're in somewhere like Florida like me, where dubias are illegal. So I feed mine discoid roaches, superworms, sometimes crickets. Another good feeder is black soldier fly larva, which is also called phoenix worms. It's got calcium and everything in it. So with the black soldier fly larva, you don't have to worry about dusting those. Where the other insect feeders, you're going to want to either dust them or you're going to want to dust, what I do is dust the greens because my guys eat their greens pretty well. So I don't have to worry about that. They get all their vitamins from the greens. For supplements, like I said, calcium is very important to these guys. Calcium with D3. That's because they need that in order to grow their own, especially when they're younger. But they're going to need it throughout their entire life. But they're growing more when they're younger, so you got to make sure you're adamant about giving that to them. I use the Reptisun Calcium Plus. Yes, it has a liver gecko on it, but I use it for my liver gecko as well. It has the calcium, the D3, and the multivitamins all in one. So it just, rather than dusting with something different each time, it just makes it easier just to use the all-in-one. It has everything they need in there. And I usually dust Max's food with that 5 times a week, and I still dust Toothless's food with it every day. And it's just 1 meal a day. You don't have to dust, if you're feeding your baby insects 3 times a day, you don't have to dust insects with it every single time. Just once a day is plenty with that. Green wise, some staples you want to use. Mustard greens are my guys' favorite. Turnip greens are a close second. Arugula. Sometimes bearded dragons are picky when it comes to eating greens, and you'll have to add something with color on it to kind of spike their attention. And with that, I've used bell peppers. Yellow peppers seems to really get Max's attention when he's being stubborn about a salad. Throw something there with color with yellow or orange, as long as it's green peppers like bell peppers and not hot peppers. Don't use hot peppers, that's not good, guys. But so that'll usually get his attention. Let's see, arugula is something else they really like. Parsley. You want to try to avoid or not give often, stuff like kale or some of the other ones. There's kale is the main one I know of. Is like broccoli. They bind calcium, so if you give them too often, it actually could do it could do more harm than good. So I avoid them personally. I avoid that altogether. I just stick to those basics, and you just want to alternate, give them variety, because they do get bored with insects and they get bored with the same greens every day. You'll notice that they'll start getting more stubborn with eating them if it's the same thing every day. Let's see, what else am I missing? Okay, so water. Some people choose to leave water bowls in their enclosures. I don't do that. What I do is a couple different things. One, they get their water off of their greens. So if they're eating their greens, they're getting water that way. Another way is taking a dropper or a spray bottle and just dripping water on their nose, and they will drink the water that way if they're thirsty. A third way that I use is soaks. So I soak my dragons. It's recommended a couple times a week. I soak mine a little bit more often sometimes because mine actually enjoy the bath. They swim around and everything in it, and they also drink from the bathtub. So they'll get their water drinking from the bathtub. They get it from dripping on their nose, and they also get it from their greens when they eat their greens. So that's the way they get their water. I don't leave bowls in there because one, it's a mess if they tip it over, or if they go to the bathroom in it. It's a mess, and if they're getting their water otherwise, they're well hydrated. I make sure of it. So that is how they get their water. Another reason I don't keep water in the enclosures is because humidity levels. You want their humidity levels to stay around 35 to 40%. And living in Florida, it's already a struggle to keep humidity levels down. So adding a bowl of water in there, even a shallow bowl, can raise that up, and that's just not something that is worth it to me when I can give them water other ways. Let's see. I'm thinking of anything else that I have left out. I know this is kind of just the basics. It's not, everything you need to know about a bearded dragon, but the most important things, like I said, is going to be lighting. They have to have a UVB bulb. They have to have they have to have a basking spot. Those are two very much needed. Oh, okay. I was going to say nighttime temperatures. At nighttime, you don't want any lights on. It will mess with their day-night cycle. They need 12 hours of light, 12 hours off of light. So if for some reason your room gets below 65 degrees at night and you need supplemental heat during the night, you can do a chi emitter. What it is basically, it's just a heat emitter that doesn't emit any light. It just emits heat. And that's an option for you if your temperatures get below 65. Even during the winter, mine don't get below that. It's Florida, so it tends to stay warmer. So that's not something I have to worry about, but that is something I know some people do have to worry about when it gets a little bit colder out during the winter. Summer right now, it's not so bad. I don't think most places. But heat emitter at night, you don't want to use anything like, you know, leopard geckos, they get belly heat, so you use a heat pad on a thermostat for them. You don't want to use anything like that for a bearded dragon. They do attract heat from the top, not the bottom. So they need that basking light, like in the wild, they're diurnal, they're out during the day. So they go out and they bask under the sun, whereas a leopard gecko is crepuscular. He'll go out nighttime or early morning and he'll get the heat off the rocks from the sun after the sun is already set. So there's a difference. They like their heat from the top, and you'll see them darken up when they're attracting the heat. They'll darken up their colors in order to get more heat on them. So yeah, this has been the bearded dragon care video. I am going to go ahead and link my last video up here somewhere. I've done a Meet All My Pets video, so you can get more information about all my pets, including Max and Toothless, who I put away because she was everywhere. But, yeah, so I will go ahead and link those videos up below. I also have a playlist with all the bearded dragon information that I've given so far. That'll be linked above somewhere as well. I don't ever know what side to point to because everything's backwards. So yeah, if you have any other questions, comments, or anything, just leave them down below in the comment section. If you haven't already, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. That way you get future videos from me. You get notified, because just subscribing doesn't seem to be enough. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and you have a great day, and we'll see you next week. Bye. Say bye, Max. Bye, Max.